Heard the laugh. Holy Moses. What the heck? Setting up your meeting. It's being, okay, wait a minute. It's been a while since I've been on Zoom at all. And it says it's being live streamed now. Let's just see if that indeed is true. As you all know, my tablet did finally, unfortunately, um, okay, how do I see? It's been too long, apparently. Over here live, maybe? Is it there? Nope. See, I have no idea why I can't see this. I'm on my account. Oh, there it is. See, I'm trying to see if I can see the comments in the event that somebody does catch this live. There we go. Okay. Thank you. All right. So I know it's been a while, but I had such a beautiful experience yesterday that I absolutely had to. Well, I knew I was going to share it, but then this morning I got inundated. There's actually um, I did do another recording, but I don't think I'm going to put that out because nobody needs to see all that. Um, I said I was going to call it Getting Ready with Grandma because the energy was moving through me so fast. I was in here putting on my, eye makeup and doing my hair, and I was like, oh boy, we don't really need to do that, do we? I might put that out later for folks who really want to see what that looks like, but at any rate, I wanted to share that. I know I haven't been here at all, really, okay, because there's a lot of stuff that has been happening for me personally. And what I mean by that, okay, so I had another round of, it seems like 2023, well, a lot of 2022 as well, if you caught the last part of Corona Rising. I started in 2022 having these conversations again with death. You see, we all have choices. And this physical vessel that have chosen to inhabit, apparently, uh, in almost every timeline, has practically taken this vessel to the edge. I'm so fortunate. In the memories of the timelines that I do have within this current vessel, I know that I've done that. You don't lay at death's door for over 10 years. It was almost a total of 12 years that it was really bad, where I was in and out of the hospital constantly, sometimes for months at a time. I've had over 20 surgeries, right? So I lost count towards the end. Um, so I think at least at this juncture, what it's starting to feel like is that I'm still traversing different timelines as they converge and pulling myself into the best physical vessel in that timeline for me. I don't know. I know it sounds crazy, but I have these little tells that I can tell when I'm in a a different vessel. uh, right? I was injured very young on one of those merry-go-rounds. Yes, I'm one of the kids you read about that got drug on their face on a merry-go-round. And ever since I've been an adult, it had, of course, shrank to a very small size, right? Right underneath this part of my nose. Well, in different bodies, that scar is a lot larger than in other bodies. And there's other telltale signs since I started really paying attention, right? So, at any rate, needless to say, there's been a lot of that, but that hasn't been the only reason that I haven't been here. See, now I know, as of this morning, I am aware that I have actually been in resistance to coming back here live. And I can't allow that because what you resist persists and all of that sort of thing. And I do know, because I've been told by many who have followed me through all the instances of my channel, and you guys channels, and you guys all know who you are, um, that have said that just my, puzzle piece collecting on here, which is really my therapy for me. I'm not trying to tell any of you what to do. Believe you me, I have had my fill of that kind of stuff, right? And that too is part of what I think I'm supposed to share. I cannot believe you're here, my love, because you were the one I was thinking of when I just got through saying that I've been told that it's important for me to be here. And I also now know that I've been in resistance to coming back here. And I can't allow that to stand because what I resist persists. So thank you, Fawn, for uh, being so lovingly patient with me as well. And I'm not here to say that I'm coming back like I was before, because it's all so different. I now know with all of me, all we can do is share our experiences. That's it. That's all any of us can do, in my view, because our perspective on creation is very unique. That's the whole point. It's about time you got back. Your voice is important. You're so very sweet, my love. Well, I had an experience yesterday, Fawn, in real life with a being that solidified that for me. And it actually bowls me over to know uh, what just sharing the truth of who we are can do, right? Just walking our walk and talking our talk and loving others, what it looks like when it lands, what it feels like within my physical vessel, that is so powerful. That is so powerful. And admitting that I don't have all the answers, but the answers I do have. Ooh, oh my word. The answers I have for me, and I'm very clear that they're for me. They may help someone else to find their own answers, but that's part of the issue here. And that's why it's so important that everyone get really clear within themselves about what they do and do not want, and hearing their own voice within. On the largest picture, if for me, I don't know why this is, but I have always had, I mean, even in one of my letters of recommendation in a professional capacity, okay, the vice president of fulfillment from a very large corporation that I worked for said of me, back before I knew anything about me being a projector, said that Sheila has the ability, the uncanny ability to see the bigger picture. And that is so, because for some reason I have this ability to step back and see the underlying energy in differing situations where if folks aren't maybe not able to make that connection for whatever the reason, I have that ability, right? And from the farthest point that I can step back to, I see that the major question on this planet being asked of every being, and it has been really since 2020, is who you going to trust? Who do you believe? Are you going to believe somebody on the outside of you who may or may not have the proper answers and may or may not have your best interests at heart? Because for me, at 62, I have a lot of hindsight to look back on, and I can see where I've believed a whole lot of things that not turned out to not be not so much, just not so much, you know. And by allowing myself the time to step back and see, oh, wait a minute, I have to trust me. And I've also been able to see now where every being on this planet from the time we're born actually gets the message not to trust themselves. I'm sorry, I can think back to words, even words that I've said to my own child as a little one. Oh, no, 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 no. We don't allow each other to experience our choices so that we know how to trust ourselves. That's a huge one right there, right? And we did it to ourselves, we've done it to each other, right? And so now I can clearly see where also that deprogramming and deconditioning is a very unique thing too that cannot be rushed. I know there's a lot of truth seekers and light workers that want to just rip the band-aid off because they can't take it anymore. It is just too hard. And I think about the psychological damage that something like that could do. Because when a being is not ready to hear a truth, they don't hear it. It don't matter what you say. That's the only thing that can explain some of this insanity that some of us are seeing, that some of us can clearly see that there's insanity that's being accepted as truth, fallacy that's accepted as truth. And, and that's the only thing that could explain it to me, right? And so if for me, and again, all of this is just for me, you're right, Fawn. We are all teachers and students, and I feel that so strongly. That's the only way forward for me, is to realize how little I do know. I remember once I said to my then teenage child that he needed to hurry up and do everything he wanted to do now while he still thought he knew everything, because there would come a time when he would realize that he don't, right? I'm sure a lot of parents can relate to that. Well, the truth of that actually goes for all of us, right? And my time has finally arrived where even the truth that I think I know is for me is also suspect. Because Fawn, you were there, with my last name being Corona, when I first started following my inner nudges, my inner messages, and I got that Corona was going to be viral. And that came not long after I started the channel, Conscious Conversation Central, my very first YouTube channel. Now, that was in 2017. Well, I never went viral. I got the most followers I got was 2,000 subscribers. But my guidance wasn't wrong. It was my interpretation of my guidance that was incorrect, which also tells me I had to see it like that. It had to come through. I'm a big personality and I got a big ego. And I used to think that what if it was right for me, right? I had to see that on a very clear level that each one, and I think that happens for each of us. Each one of us are channeling our divinity in ways that we will get through to ourselves if we pay attention to ourselves. I think this is my experience so far. Fawn said, it's been a long journey for us, Sheila. You're so right. Yes, it has. It has. And I want you to know, Fawn, that's been part of why I haven't come back here because I do realize that each individuated portion is going to hear these things when they are ready and only when they are ready, right? And it's just that, and that was something else that I had to see as well, because I mean, even when the proof of the pudding is right in someone's face, even when it's loved ones who are witnessing a transformation right before their very eyes, and I'm speaking about my own, moving from death's door to being able to, well, not just death's door. I was in a motorized wheelchair. That was my next step. That was the next part of my diagnosis. I was in a wheelchair already and slated for a motorized wheelchair. And so my truth at that moment, at those moments when I first took my health back in my own hands, changed me in such fundamental ways that I thought my entire family would come on board with me and do what I was doing because hey, look what will work for you. That's not how that works. It's not how that works. When a being is ready is the only time it will. Was that? I love the way Lisa said that to me. She said, "Well, yeah, she got sick and tired of being sick and tired." And that's the way it is for all of humanity. That is it, again, stepping back and looking at the larger picture. We the people means something very specific in an overall sentence. For me it does. Individually, each must come to it. And until they're there and ready for it, it won't happen. And it's on each's timeline. That is part and parcel to why I haven't, because I felt like it's just one more voice to muddy the water, right? Until yesterday, like I said. And maybe part of that, you know yourself, Fawn, part of that for me is okay, there was a very special moment yesterday that I could feel, and the being that I was speaking with could feel. I could tell they could feel, right? Through our conversation. And that's what's missing in this when I do this. When I do this, it's mostly for me. I'm working out stuff, right? Partly. Partly I'm working stuff out, right? And that is what's missing from doing this, right? Partly why I want to do what you love and love what you do. No, that's too true. That's another reason I don't come here unless I feel drawn to do so. And I just really haven't. Now there have been some times where I've felt drawn, and then I've launched Zoom and I've actually done like a video blog for myself that I haven't put out because again, I don't know. There's something there that I'm in resistance to. I'm not real clear what it is. That's another reason I've uh, decided today, especially after that experience yesterday, because again, I was following my nudges yesterday, right? Following my nudges, As a matter of fact, I don't have them here at my bed or my bedside. My well, it is my bedside, my desk to share with you. I've been the creatures are coming through fast and furious. I created this for my granddaughter for Easter. And I'm hoping to get to give it to her today. And so the little creatures have been coming through again. And so I've spent a lot of time uh just me, myself, and my thoughts, and loads of things are it's like downloads, if you will, right? And then I get feeling like it's time to come and share it, and I don't, I'm in resistance to it, and I got to find out why. We need to have a magical conversation. Hey, I'm ready. That's another thing. I've decided, and I haven't made a decision as to when. I'm leaning towards Sunday evenings from 5 to 7 p.m. Eastern time. So I want to put this out there. I want to start a conversation group who is willing to have conscious conversations about things that interest them, about, topics that you'd like to discuss in groups. It's a conversation group. It will be recorded. It may or may not go out on the channel, because I get it. Some people don't like to do that, but here's my deal. I feel as though conscious conversation is what's missing in this day and time. Honestly, conversation about the truth of who we are and how that applies, or how that knowledge colors everything for me personally. Okay, that assumption. Okay, thank you. So I'm making an assumption that the truth of who I am is a splinter of divinity experiencing itself in the creation. That's my assumption. That's my hypothesis. And as I move through my life to prove to myself that Christ's words were correct, that the least among you, his words were, the least among you will go on to do the things I do and more. Well, if that's true, then I can dun, 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 prove it to myself. And since I so far have brought myself back from the brink of death, well, I'm going to keep going on that trajectory because my life has surely improved, uh, moving in that direction. So why would I quit doing that? And uh, one of the best things I ever did was start Conscious Conversation Central, and being open to hearing differing thoughts and differing ideas and see where they fit in my own puzzle piece collecting gig, moving towards that which brings me joy in each moment that presents itself. And a lot of people get all triggered when I say that, right? Yeah, everybody can't move towards what brings them joy, Sheila. But if you look at whatever is presenting itself, there's always more than one way to see it. For me, anyway, this is how I do that. I can look at it from a perspective of, oh, that sucks, and I don't want that. Or I could see something about whatever is taking place. I can see it as happening to me or happening for me, and I can delineate from there. Now, maybe that's a part of who I am because I have that ability to step back for a second and look at the larger picture. I don't know. But at least I'm willing to figure it out. And I'm also willing to see where I'm wrong about a thing because boy, oh boy, have I been wrong in my life a lot. Ask anybody that knows me. But I could, so I don't know. Yes, you and I do need to. And hey, I'm free. I'm going to, I promised myself because again, I don't do this much for myself. I promised myself that I was going to pull at least one card from my favorite deck, the Remy deck. Today is Easter, and I've been invited to lunch, so I do have an engagement that I'll be leaving for in about 30 minutes. But when I return, on if you're free. And if that's not today or even tomorrow, you just let me know when, and we'll do that. Because as you might guess, I have a free and open schedule. So I'm going to ask the Rumi deck to give us the overall energy right this moment of, I don't know, let's see, what could, Donnie says hi. Please tell him for me, I adore him. And eh, man, I saw that. I saw the pictures of the shed and I thought, oh, that's a tiny house waiting to happen. So I'm sorry. That's a beautiful job you did, my love, on that shed. Ladies and gentlemen, just so you know, Donnie is the one who created my sign back there that actually says Conscious Conversation Central. You can't see it very well, but it will always reside wherever I am, as I love that so, so very much. Um, and I love the two of you, and I will be getting down there to see you guys. I just know that something tells me that this is going to be the year that um, Candy, because I'm telling you, Candy's running great. She's really is. It's just the intro, and I've got my bed in there, but it's not, I mean, not my bed, but my mattress is in there. I've got quite a few things in there, but not secured. And that's the thing about driving around with any of it just sitting in there. Okay, so, ooh, wow, it came out right away. Actually, two of them. What came out? The all-encompassing hand, card number 20, and card number 36, Passion of the Wild Red Mother. Wow. Okay, so the passion of the wild red mother wants to come first for some reason here. Yeah, I would love to get down to see you guys, and I would also like to be able to go over and see my sister in Georgia while I'm that way. I think there's still a goodly amount of hours in between there. We'll have to see what the gas prices bring. Ah! Because I I have uh it's always tougher for me at the first of the year because of the fixed income thing. Okay, so card number 36, Passion of the Wild Red Mother. Wow. Don't ask the conscious ones about the wine. Behold the glowing effect of it in the eyes of drunks. Rumi. Bring me your unreasonableness, your insanity, your love without reason, and your passion. The passion that makes you crazy and goes all illogic, goes and that shoes all logical restraint from your mind. Leave your ordered thoughts, sensible plans, and appropriate attire at my door. Put on your animal fur and sing to me in gibberish. When my beautiful goats die, I make drums. Oh my God. I'm being shown right now this is about perspective. This is about what I said about looking at each moment as it presents and seeing it through this perspective or this perspective. And what one decides is for the one who's doing the deciding, who's got the presenting there. And I don't think that it's a mistake no matter what, right? When my beautiful goats die, I make drums from their skins and their spirits live on in my passionate play. When my birds drop their feathers, I gather them and put them in my hair. That's so funny because I found a feather yesterday on part of my adventure that I had yesterday. Come drum with me as I place feathers in your hair, and we honor the spirits of my animals, of your animal nature too, wild and free as you are in truth. Stick your tongue out and growl at those who try to tame you with guilt, shame, and fear. I couldn't agree more on that. Because all of that guilt, shame, and fear is based on assumptions and what they've experienced through those assumptions. Do you think I give a damn for any of their silly games? That's why some of the announcements I heard this morning just kind of made me go, okay, that's kind of funny. Those games of reason and logic. Of course, you should do it this way, they say. It makes sense. And I was one of those people that say, oh, you ought to do it this way. Worked for me. Makes sense. But I care not for what makes sense, and I care for what brings you alive. And boy, oh boy, is that true. I love that. You, oh blazing angel, are being invited by the wild red mother to participate in a dance of divine passion. You may be an activist, a poet, an advocate for justice, or a writer, content in your own world of dreams, or perhaps you are a healer, devoted to the liberation of the suffering of others, and hungry to commune with ancient wisdom. Perhaps you are all of these, or some other exquisite amalgam of holy energy in form. Whatever your nature, there is passion in your heart, a fire for something more powerful than fear, that can become the fuel for your life journey. Oh my God, that is so true. And you're right. I have to say, this is too delicious for me to get today. Will you join her, the wild red mother, in her exuberant play? You can choose to lead through joy, to heal through love, to transform suffering into what it is meant to be, the crucible through which ecstasy reveals itself. Dun, 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 dun. I feel like everything I said right up to this card is in this card. And I'm sure that's just my perspective because I'm the one that said it. But boy, oh boy, is it not reflected in this card. I couldn't make this up if I tried. You do not have to analyze to stay in the throes of process and ordered stages. You can just choose this passionate path now if you wish. That's a direct message to me. Fawn, mark this right here. That's a direct message to what I said about I've been in resistance to coming back here, right? I'm being shown right here, right now. That's a direct message to me. You can choose to lead through joy, to heal through love, to transform suffering into what it is meant to be. The crucible through which ecstasy reveals itself. You do not have to analyze to stay in the throes of process and ordered stages. You can just choose this passionate path now, if you wish. You are ready. It is open to you. Will you accept it? I guess that is the question of the moment, isn't it? At least it feels like it is for me. It takes a great spirit, one with much practice of studied rebellion, to be ready to cast off the shackles of society from a place of loving defiance rather than fearful anger, which is what I really feel like I'm doing. I am not in fear at all. Maybe it's because I'm 62. I don't know. Maybe it's because I feel like the universe has my back. I don't know. Maybe it's because I know that I'm eternal no matter what they do to this physical vessel. The divinity within it is eternal. So, okay, whatevs, if we're still playing that game, I guess we're playing that game. But I don't want to, again, it's my choice. I get to choose it, right? And to playfully say to the world, I have tasted your stale bread and underdeveloped wine, and have had quite enough now. I decline your offer to gorge upon such lesser fruits. And I am saying that I prefer to feast upon bread hot and fresh and wine that is mouth filling and unctuous. If my choices are to move through life in fear and pain and regret, or to venture out, be myself, and experience what I experienced yesterday in my interaction with that other being. And I'm hoping with all of me that that other being will see this and know who they are. I have just they just friended me on Facebook, so I didn't get a chance to say anything at all. They don't really even know what I'm about yet. So, but just having that interaction was enough to propel me to back here. Okay. Because that is much preferable to that fear. And that's what I feel like this is saying here. To playfully say to the world, oh, I've tasted your stale bread and underdeveloped wine, and I've had quite enough now. I decline your offer to gorge upon such lesser fruits. I prefer to feast upon bread hot and fresh, and wine that is mouth filling and unctuous. Join me if you like. It is an abundant feast, and there is plenty for all. When I embarked upon the crocheting that I have embarked upon and the giving of these items as gifts, and I, Lisa and I set up a booth at a local function, and people were asking me, well, how much are they? And I said, it's a gift. If you'd like to kick a little in the kitty to replace the yarn and the eyes and the stuffing, great, but it's a gift, honestly. There is no, I have, these come through me at such a rate that if I held on to them, I'd be overrun with tribbles. Do you ever see the Star Trek? So I can't do that, number one. And number two, the joy that I experience when people hear this and they're like, what, a gift? Nothing can compare to that. Okay. And so that very first time of doing that, I met a lady who works for a yarn manufacturer, and she donated so much yarn that Anne told me that if I run out to let her know, because this is yarn she had to do away with, right? And here's so that's a proving to me that doing what I love is supported by the universe. I don't have to worry about where it will come from to do more, right? And I feel like that's what this is saying here. Even in the spiritually minded, there can be a driving fear, thinly veiled as devotion to the most arduous path. Perhaps for a while that serves as a truth of sorts, but eventually there will come a time when smaller truths must give way to larger ones, so the soul can truly be free to grow. And again, I feel like that is a very specific answer to me for this card, for what I've been moving through as to whether or not I come back here, right? Passion is the bridge that leads you from a smaller truth that suffering is necessary in order to heal towards a larger and more luscious experience of life as a divine embrace. Yes, sometimes the divine lover, in all enthusiasm for the sport, bites you too hard or grabs you with so much desire that a bruise remains. However, the passion behind such fervent embrace can leave you begging for more life, for more of that boundless love, even when it knocks you on the head whilst grabbing for you. This is possible when you give up on judgment of what is good and what is bad. And I think that's what I mean by my having judged something as being bad for me or a mistake or something wrong in the past, and now seeing where it was the perfect thing. It was exactly what was required in that moment for me, or I wouldn't be here now doing this. I don't know what I'd be doing necessarily, but it wouldn't be here, it wouldn't be now, and it wouldn't be this. Um, I'm sorry, what do we got here? Oh, hi, sweetie. This is more of a update. I'm not doing for individuals at the moment. Yeah. If you get something from this, if you're here, there's a reason, there's a message in this for you. It may not be the question you have on your mind at the moment. But now see, this is the way, and again, it's different for every being. This is the way I've approached my life. Okay. The larger portion of me is using everything in the universe to converse with me. That's the difference. To it, because everything is vying for our attention. If you notice outside of yourself, look around. Everything is vying for your focus and your attention. And so I can choose to focus on what am I trying to tell myself about whatever the question may be, because I'm using the entire universe to converse with me. This is how I'm looking at my life now. And that's why I always say, if you're, oh, and this is card number 36, which is a 9, and the 369, I don't know why that came about. That may be important to someone for some reason, right? But no, that's the way Fawn is right. Thank you, Fawn, for sharing that for Nancy, because I can tell Nancy's new. I don't recall your name, sweetie. Um, so where did I leave off here? This is the issue when I go off on a tangent. I lose my place. Oh, okay, because it was up here about judgment of what is good and what is bad. So it says, I'm going to start that over. However, the passion behind such fervent embrace can leave you begging for more life, for more of that boundless love, even when it knocks you on the head while it's grabbing for you. Oh, and I got something for you right now, Nancy, because at the moment I saw that, we're talking about judgment, and I went into sharing how I have judged certain things in a certain light in the past in my life as a mistake, only to, once I've lived through that mistake experience, which we live experience into wisdom, living knowledge into wisdom is kind of what we do. I love that from the handbook of the new paradigm, right? Is what I'm getting there. So perhaps there's something that you've adjudged in one particular way of something that's happened in your life that maybe is not what you think it is, right? That I don't, for some reason that came through to share with you again. So, by when you give up on judgment of what is good and what is bad, and what is apparently spiritual and what is not, yeah, because everything is spiritual in my view, or it's not, it depends on your perspective, and everybody's going to have a different one. Whether through caress or a slap, the divine lover is seducing you. If you can accept this, you can certainly give yourself permission to love what you love, to live how you wish to live, and to forget about holding yourself back because some choices make sense and others supposedly do not. And the truth of the matter for me is, I was just speaking about this before the card, right? What's right for one is not right for all. And by trying to push everybody into one way of looking at things or being a thing or seeing a thing or doing a thing or whatever, right? That doesn't work. It doesn't work like that anyway. And to pretend that it should is so silly. If you were able to rise to the passion that is possible for you, you'll let the wild red mother consume your philosophies and doctrines. She'll feast on your religion and your plans and devour your doubts and certainties. Boy, she sure has mine. She'll tear away your need for maps and directions just when you think there's nothing left. She'll grab your hands and spin with you. You'll tilt back your head and laugh so wildly with her, spinning together along with the earth upon her axis, with a daring and bold love for life that will not be quashed. That wild red mother speaks to you now. You can choose passion over fear time and time again. So I invite you to paint the whole world red with me, with passionate nature. Let us laugh and change the world. I love that. This oracle comes to you with a message. It is a big cosmic yes. It is also an invitation to let go of suffering and struggle, not with regret or shame, but with gentle acknowledgement that it has had its purpose. It now has a bigger purpose, that of passion, which calls you to engage in the embrace of life with more abandon than ever before. Ooh, that feels huge. Now is the time to let go of belief systems and needing to know. Boy, that's a big one, ain't it? We all want to know. I do. I know I want to know so badly. Am I going the right way? Please guide me. When actually I am being guided in every moment. And so I can I can waller around and act like I'm drowning if I want to, but it is time to trust in the beating of your own heart and in the people, places, and experiences that truly move you, whether it makes sense or appears to be logical or not. Do you think it looked logical what I did yesterday? I didn't share exactly what happened. I may, should that being decide that it's okay to do. I am not going to have time to do the other card, y'all. I have got to go here. The wild red mother comes to you when you are ready for her at a soul level. This is why ripping the band-aid off won't work, because people will see when it's time for them to see. People will understand and understand when it is time. I have to trust that your divinity is going to guide you exactly where you need to be to experience exactly what you need to experience. I have to trust that. And as soon as we all get that, life on this planet is going to be a whole lot different. Because if we truly are divinity lensed through physical vessels, and we truly are eternal, a whole lot of stuff that's going on this planet, all that fighting for power and control and all of that makes no earthly sense at all. And it's actually funny. So back to the card here. Your mind may think she is a thief in the night, ready to pilfer all you hold near and dear, and be utterly in terror at the prospect. But your soul, I'm coming. Okay, cool. I'm doing a live, and I haven't forgotten. I promise. See, I told you guys I got lunch plans. I've been asked to lunch. Your mind may, oh yeah, here we go. It will take all you hold near and dear and be utterly in terror at the prospect. But your soul will be gurgling with such anticipation of freedom, it will fill your heart with sweet love and urge you to let go. Let her have her way with you, even if it means she crashes into you in the dark as she fumbles and drags you, half asleep, to go out dancing with her under the full moon, wearing nothing but your animal skin and a smile. She'll soothe any bumps and bruises you receive in opening up to life with the most tender and effective of ministrations, for she is just as tender a nurse as she is a wild, raging dance partner. This oracle also brings you guidance. You have divine permission to do something ridiculous. Be it ridiculous in your own mind for your age or career path, or some identity or version of yourself you or another hold. And how ridiculous do you think it is for a 62-year-old woman to go out and have van life? Some people would say that's a bit ridiculous. I don't know. We'll see if that actually happens or not, hey? I do want to at least go camping in her for short jaunts, that's for sure. So we'll see. The more ridiculous or inappropriate it seems, the more it moves you from your heart without rhyme or reason, the better. This is not about hurting people. Everybody jumps to that, which I never understand. This is not about hurting people or behaving without a moral code. It is not about childish indulgence and questionable justification for letting the ego misbehave. And again, every time I say stuff like that, people jump right to that. I'm like, why do we always go there? Why does that always have to be the very first thing we jump to? Can it be that everybody could actually, well, I don't know, love everybody else? I mean, I think it's possible. I don't know why everybody acts like it ain't. This guidance is about listening to the truth of your heart and allowing your soul to throb with aliveness, making that more important than any restriction, opinion, judgment, or fear the mind, yours or that of others, could summon. Now, I won't have time to read number 20, the all encompassing hand. But being that it's Easter, I kind of think we know what this one would say too. And maybe I'll come back and do another one this evening or something. And Nancy, I do read for people, but I just do it usually in the evening times, and it's called an intuitive hangout session. And maybe I can be inspired this week to hold one of those, because it's been a while since I've done that too. And Fawn, you let me know, please, ma'am. Reach out and give me a time that would be good for you. If not today, sometime soon, because I have nothing really scheduled. So I love you guys. Thanks for being here. Happy Easter. And remember, you are the most important, and what you think about something and what you feel. Because even I don't know, I can't, people cannot convince me that I'm going to make a mistake anymore. If I'm following my inner guidance, and then I might judge it as looking like a mistake, but it's not a mistake. So far, since I've been doing this, it hasn't been a mistake. I have not been led astray. So there we have it. I love you guys. Mwah. Until we meet again, I hope that you will move towards that which brings you joy in each moment that presents itself to you. It really is a matter of checking the perspective through which you're viewing whatever you're looking at, that you have a choice to make in how you receive it, how you process it, and then how you distribute it. And so for me, that's how we go. So if you're interested in joining me for a book study that will be recorded, every book study is recorded. It is not always put out either, because that's also a very private thing. There have been times when I've asked permission after the fact to share it, because it's been a very enlightening conversation. And the others who were in the book study all agreed. So I'm looking at a 5 to 7 p.m. on Sunday nights Eastern time as a starting point. If that's something that interests you and you'd like to be a part of that coming up, uh, reach out to me at Conscious Conversation Central at gmail.com and put Joshua Channeling's book club in the heading, and I'll be contacting you. Until we meet again, you guys, be well, my friends, and happy Easter.